A frosty reception. I'm told the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. Ah, there he is. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? An instance. Alright. Oh. It's an honor to finally meet you. We of the Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains and into Garlemald. For many of us, it will be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was only our most notable Imperial defector. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources are at your disposal, and if there is aught we might do to be of further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. If you are ready to depart, I will ready the entrance. Upon boarding the airship, several cutscenes will play in sequence. Alright. In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. Your progress will be saved at certain points. In the event you are defeated, yeah. Okay. Let's go. Oh boy.
Ilsabad, divided in twain by a vast mountain range. Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly? On the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius, the winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
Manly. Look at everybody in their winter gear. Aw, Alvino and Alze look cute. Graha looking stylish.
We've received word from Thancred's reconnaissance party. They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps.
Urianger back in his fucking 3.4 cloak.
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that. Maxima reports that they're led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the First.
From what I recall, the 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus' death. The First, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Amanda Lane, how are you not used to the cold by now? And
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald. The very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment?
oh, I didn't even notice Lise back there because she's wearing like a standard Alamegan Resistance outfit.
Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments, and once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into two groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most. I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rearguard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
Oh, I was wondering what was like making things glow, and it looks like everything has like a texture, like a snowy texture to it here. On your like clothing and whatnot. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that level of detail. Thancred looking pretty cool.
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Hydaelyn always did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right. Once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's Magitech with explosives.
Oops.
Our second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. The blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Wouldn't have it any other way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
Okay. Well, not what I was expecting. Hey. Assuming there is nothing else you wish to confirm, we may commence the mission as soon as you are ready.
Keep your wits about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count. Damn, he spotted.
Yeah, so it's not an instant kill. Dun 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 dun. I see there's a threat awareness thing now. So I'm used to playing Metal Gear and the like. I can only imagine this is going to be a little bit of trouble for some people.
This is Thancred. The explosives are in place.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control terminal. It should be to the northwest.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point. Must be losing my touch.
I really didn't think I'd hit him. Right. Well, could have been better. Could have been worse.
You are
let's blow it up.
returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
Mission accomplished. A few moments later, at the rear of the Ilsebard's contingent supply caravan.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now, if they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be all right, but...
What's this?
Wait! Something's coming!
guard dogs.
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead!
Alright, fuck him up.
Fighters! Protect the others! A brief respite, but stay alert. Keep the carriages safe.
Man, that's true. We're up.
What the wonderful timing! Fear not, friends! The savior of Ishgard is here!
We're up.
A fine display, but the other carriages are still in danger. Go on ahead. We'll hold the line.
I can fight something.
We're the only ones still struggling. Oh, we put our backs into it then!
Bye, motherfucker. Oh! Jesus. Kill it! Are they holding it back with their bare fucking hands? Jesus.
You lot alright back there?
We're
Yeah,
fine.
big.
I'm ready for more.
Hear that?
Hear what?
Get to the front and turn the tide!
I'm up here. Meanwhile, on the front line. Fuck him up. Oh, using
Removed
sleep,
from the
that's smart.
field was not a euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal. In time.
He will live.
The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
That I did.
You look really cool, I should say.
That's Hydaelyn. Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them!
I was wondering when you'd turn up.
Ooh, unique animation for that.
There's no stopping us now. Come on, let's show them what we're made of.
Let's go.
We have them now! Forward!
Oh, fucking Pippin! Holy shit, dude! Ain't nothing to fuck with.
That's her! Virgilia!
You guys okay over there? Good stuff, good stuff. I can't get aggro off any of these guys. Okay, it went off. We're good for now. Oh, we did it. Okay. That left one wasn't looking so good. Whew. Okay. Everyone take a breath of fresh air.
The adversary. Rest, recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again, to the death.
Sadu Hatun.
That was the last of them. The day is ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What...
Oh.
Outmaneuvered, but not outmatched. Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades. And soon we shall arrive at the capital.
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain. "800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kovosi after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth, freezing, hungry, desperate, hated.
Wow.
The chosen forsaken.
This entrance is very somber. Never thought we'd enter Garlemald like this.
In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed. Bitterly so.
And we're here. We made it. A fucking ghost town.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
Camp Broken Glass. Shouldn't be long before I have camp, with so many helping hands. I was concerned the snow might hinder our progress, but our Ishgardian friends are used to working in conditions like these. In spite of the obstacles we faced, our plan proceeds apace. Just a little farther, and we will reach the capital itself. Still, we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. As the camp has been made fit for purpose, we are to discuss the course of action with Lucia. Would you mind asking Y'shtola and Graha to join us in that building to the northeast of camp? Alz and I will meet you there. Meeting? Yes, I'll make my way over once my head is cleared. In truth, I've been feeling all sorts since we arrived. The air is thick with palpable aura of malevolence. 'Tis the monstrous tower on the horizon, jagged, hideous, unholy. Even at this distance, its presence is overwhelming. Much like the sensation I felt in the Tower of Zot, only far more terrifying. Ether flows unceasingly towards it, converging into a swirling mass of unfathomable power. For a blessing, the constant chill in the air is helping to anchor my senses in the here and now. Tell the others I shall be with you in a few moments. Graha, this has to be the only piece of clothing you own that isn't red. You will be pleased to know most of the tempered have been quartered inside the nearby building and are receiving treatment as we speak. I do, however, feel no small amount of guilt for commandeering civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything is exactly as they left it. Considering the length of time that has clearly passed since, one would expect to find them ransacked. Strangely, there are no signs of anything having been stolen. It's possible that everyone fled at the first sign of trouble, though it seems to me they left far too many useful possessions behind. Although there is no conclusive evidence, I strongly suspect they were tempered. Sorry, I was merely thinking aloud. You mentioned a meeting. I will make my way there. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. When everyone is here, we will begin.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city. For therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers and their ministrations. Of course, I will require a proxy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twould be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with ceruleum heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Understood. The machinist will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telophoroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
'Twould be my honor to be of service, though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblan Rhine. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields. I have faith that you will, and look forward to greeting you on your safe return. You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
I never thought myself much of an explorer, though I suppose my adventures have taken me to all sorts of strange, distant places. With that in mind, traversing an ice field should be a simple feat. Let's be good. It's this cold with Tataru's clothing. I tried to think how we'd fare without it. I must remember to thank her when we next meet here. It makes me realize, too, that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard-pressed to survive away from the warmth of home. If there are any survivors, we must find them, and quickly. Alright, I've got to work, well, I've got to get ready for work in 2 hours, so that gives me just enough time to do another part here. So let's keep going. Funny enough, I'm pretty sure Jess has not only caught up with me, but surpassed me at this point. So I gotta keep going. What ho, chums? Been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like a rather tall order. Since you ask, we're to scour the Eblim Rime for survivors. What? Wander around ice fields on the off chance you'll find someone? You take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise, or more specifically, my telescope. Come, friends, I know just the spot to begin our search. I'll probably regret this, but we may as well humor him. Oh boy. Let's get out there. I spy with my little telescope a massive sheep thing, or maybe it's a cow? Not what we're after either way. Is that an aether current? Oh, no, it's just a wind sprite. Oh, fuck. Accidentally double-clicked. There's no mistaking it, that's a girl. A survivor, show me. Over there, behind that tree. It looks like she's running away from something. Though, surely not us. She wouldn't even know we're here. Unless she had a telescope like mine. All I can tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress. A rather fetching one at that. She'll be long gone by the time we get anywhere near. But we should be able to follow her footprints. I'll let Lucia know where you're heading. Oh, and take these warming tinctures with you. The poor girl must be chilled to the bone, if not on the verge of freezing to death. That's actually very thoughtful. Thank you. But won't you need some yourself? No, I'll be fine. As men of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. And lest we forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now go, and Godspeed. Also, forgive me if you might hear any sort of background noise. I do have a window open right now. A trail of fresh footprints lead east. These footprints appear to be the same as those you saw previously, and they lead towards the building. According to the label here, this place was used by those involved with extracting ceruleum. We're getting closer, I'm sure of it. At first we thought she'd gone inside the building, but the door doesn't look to have been opened in some time. She might still be nearby, so we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible that she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? Oh, look at that thing. Is that a hunt or is that a normal enemy? Hello? Is there something there? Oh. The girl in the green dress anxiously surveys her surroundings. Were you to call out to her from this distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It would be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing her attention. Stealth mission. Follow the girl from a safe distance. The objective will end in failure if you are noticed. Make use of cover such as rocks to approach her without being seen. Similarly, the objective will also end in failure if you are too far behind. Oh boy. I have never encountered a game in my life, ever, where this is fun. Ever. At the best, it is non-offensive, but still, like... Alright. Okay. Here we are. That was unoffensive. It could have been way worse, but still, not exactly a good game mechanic. Still in one piece. Boo! Take that, Thancred. Oh, she is Garleon. Who are you? Stay back. This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow this place sky high. Please, we just want to talk. I'm Alphino. This is my sister Alize and our good friend Allah. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the ones responsible for all this. You did this to us. We didn't, I promise you. One of the other reasons we came was to find out what happened here, in fact. The Telephoroi are the ones to blame. They're the ones who laid waste to Garlemald. They won't stop until they've destroyed the entire world. They are the enemy, our enemy. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who have been made their thralls. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. You are the first person we've met who wasn't already enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telephoroi's influence? Are there any others like you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start with the introductions. Can you tell me your name? My name's Lysenia. As for how I managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since that night, and the roar, that terrible roar, and then the screams. I was screaming too, I think. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran, past friends, people I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled, as far as my legs would take me. Do you have family here? Is this their home? No, this is Victor's Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers. Or it was, but now me and a few others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. I just wanted to keep everyone else safe. And I didn't know if you were... Truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help, can you? Of course. Whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first, though. Wait here. This is everyone. Licinia says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fooled to let into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us with means of heating the place as a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. That's too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide the spark with a little magic, Alize? We'll have a fire burning in no time, if we build it under the gazebo. Oh, what? Oh, you mean the bower? Yes, do as you will. Sorry, I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from all that running about, so I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in far worse state than me. We were planning to look for somewhere warmer or with more food. They're not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health. Which I don't know how to do. Is there anything you can do to help them? What is... Is that a radio? Huh. Cool. I was like, why does it someone's playing music over their mic? What they need most is a decent meal. We food back at camp, but there's the distance to consider. I can treat their frostbite and their wounds, but it will take time for the fire to do its work. Now would be a good occasion to make use of Emanuele's tinctures, the ones that can warm the body from the inside out. Would you make sure everyone gets one? The numbness is beginning to subside, though I suspect once the fire dies it will return with a vengeance. Warming tincture? I've never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. But tell me, have you heard aught of the city? Though calling it that seems absurd after what's happened. It's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the magitech that sustained us has come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational cannot run for lack of ceruleum. Of course, Cerulia Ingens is full of the stuff. For all the good it does us, no one here knows the first thing about the extraction or refinement. All is well, yes, never better. Oh, what sweet libation is this? Is it poison, by any chance? 'Twas a joke. A joke. If I laugh, 'tis that I may not weep. So said the poet. And alas, my tears would freeze on my cheek ere they fell. We are the blessed damned. We are the blessed damned to bear witness to the fall of the great empire, while our brethren lie dead or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When morning came, Garlemald was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions, and screams was our beloved razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash, as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace, each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, an offering, perhaps, to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved. Now, I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. What do you want? A tincture. May as well drink it, I suppose. Interesting radio powered by a rock. It's a radio. You don't have them where you come from, I take it. Well, we have, God, I forget what they're called. Orchestrion. We have orchestrions, I take it. We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular, made with quality components crafted with the finest ore, sourced from Locus Ominos. It is. Not all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must either have fled or ended up like all the others, because all we've been hearing is the same music, and played over and over again. Home beyond the horizon. I know to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Ominis. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hope to take back what was once ours. It is a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Valus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. It was a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he might one day make his triumphant return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus would not be defeated so easily. What's that? So this is what you gave the others. Thank you. I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Laterum? I saw Legatus Vergilia's troops heading towards the Magna Glacies a few days ago. Are they the ones you encountered? Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Virgilia and her men are all there now. So how did you reach Magna Glacius? Did you come across the mountains on foot? Airships. There might be a way to... Licinia, where is everyone? Is something the matter? No voice inside, you say. You must be imagining things. Everyone's out here. Perhaps the baby Almasty has found its way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. Without the soldiers to scare them off, wild animals have been roaming closer to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people, too. I've just said, if you and yours are strong enough to defeat a legatus, then surely a few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you have a mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of trappers living there, people whose job it was to extract ceruleum. They still do, from what we can tell. I've already tried asking if they would share their fuel with us, but they're not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food. That's something we don't have and can't get on our own. On top of that, to even reach their den, we'd have to make our way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up on your own supplies. But there might be another way to pay the trappers. You'd best watch out for baby Almasties while we're away. Yes, of course. If I see any, I'll be sure to shoo them away. To reach Trapper's Den, you'll have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight. If you'd rather not take the risk, you need to take the long way round. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky, too, so it's easier just to look for someone standing guard outside. However, however you decide to head there, please be careful. I guess she's saving her tincture for whoever's inside there. Who goes there? How did you find us? What do you mean you stand out like a sore thumb? If the purebloods over at Victor's Spoils hadn't given away our location, you'd never have found us. Those stuck-up arseholes. Thought they could come over waltzing in here demanding ceruleum with nothing to offer in return. Looks like the boot's on the other foot now. The capital's gone to shite. So they're resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game. Sellsword. If you think that we'll give you into intimidation, you got another thing coming. Hopefully they're alright. There you are. Just after you left, Licinia asked me to go catch up with you, in case you needed a hand. Someone must have let it slip that I have little experience in transporting barrels of ceruleum. So this is Trapper's Den. Well then, after you. Who are you? What happened to the guards? Eorzeans and rebels, here to save the people of Garlemald. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why in the hells would you pass up the chance to put those Imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess, none of you are Garlean. You were brought here from other lands. Garabanya, Yangtze, Bosja, Damaska. To name but a few. Some dragged here against our will, others fed bullocks about a better life. All put to work extracting ceruleum. All given the esteemed title of An, placing us firmly on the bottom rung of the ladder. But the old hierarchy means nothing to the new Garlemald, says we. About the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is Cerulia Ingens, still sustaining us. Still sustaining us even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts in drawing up ceruleum from the bottom of the lake. But how can you do that if it's frozen? Huh, wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days. What with the city in ruins, we take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it helps to stave off the cold, it does sod all for about our hunger, unless we can trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we've got ceruleum by the barrel. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. We can certainly ask, but if you're all free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Go where? Even if we managed to get back to our homelands, there'd be nothing left for us thanks to the Empire. And the knowledge and skills we acquired working here would be practically useless outside Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being. Long as there's need for ceruleum, we'll find a way to get by, even if Garlemald, as we knew it, is gone for good. Gone for good. Regardless of what the Ilsabard contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be because of cause for celebration, while for others, their whole way of life has been turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of ordinary people, their lives, their stories? Should they be forgotten too? I suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some ceruleum. So, you've come seeking ceruleum, have you? What? Those purebloods up at Victor Spoils sent you. To turn to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I thought. And again, Licinia's got her little sister to think about. A sister? We only saw Licinia and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'd be any way to get around it here. I may have refused Licinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something to exchange, but I can spare them a bottle's worth of ceruleum. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them our way, you hear? I can't for the life of me think why Licinia would keep her sister's secrets. But we can ask about that after we've delivered the ceruleum. Come on, let's hurry. This isn't right, it's too quiet. I would have thought Alphino would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house while you search outside. They can't have gone far. God damn it. Come on, Alphino, where are you? I don't know what happened. Oh fuck, what happened? They asked me to help carry supplies, but when I followed them back here they attacked me. Caught me off guard, forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared far worse than me. Allah is going to try to remain very calm. And so shall I. You can't fool us. We know what you're about. Vultures, that's what you are. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness, then in you swoop. Here to help, what a rot. All a ploy, to make us lower our guard. Let you in, put ourselves at your mercy, put us in chains, steal our lands, get your revenge. You're wrong, that's not what any of us want. Save the arguments for later, we've got bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles in a bed that was still warm. It's true, Lucinia is hiding her sick sister inside the house. Was. But now there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours. And if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I'd never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiot. Her sister's ill. The empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry, or to avoid sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. You invade our homeland, tainted with the same sorcery you used to slay our countrymen. A Garlean should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee, keep their purity intact, than to be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them, since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. Cannot say how Lucinia and her sister will react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries, and theirs. I will join you in the search after. Alright, be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. In my head, that helps. It's the thought that counts. Two sets of fresh footprints. Young women judging by their size. This is definitely them. Come on. The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route as not to leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason this place. It's crawling with beasts. And I can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Alphino's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. Oh no. The blood standing in the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. The trail of blood leads southeastwards. I hope I'm not too late. Oh no. Oh no. cold. God damn it.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked. No. Why? Why wouldn't they?
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold. I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it. But Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand. So I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
There must have been something we could have done. But what? Should we have never come here? Would they still be alive if we hadn't? If only we'd had the chance to talk things over. But it's too late now. Too late by far. We have already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them, someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is make our report to Lucia, and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. We mustn't forget to send some of our allies to Trapper's Den. We still owe them for the bottle of cerulean. Would you mind giving Lucia the full report? Alze and Alphino tell me they have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrain from saying much more than that. Clearly they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account?
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments, and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's Third Legion clashed with the First, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Zenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvus is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession, and in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varys giving them orders in their dreams.
Is Varys fucking Anima? Did they somehow turn him into Anima or something?
May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
Tower of Babel is something I've heard people throw around when they started to see the tower. I assume it's an FF4
This
reference.
sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varys spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence.
The ring. Really?
A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
That's interesting.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends! I must speak with you!
What's happened?
A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face, how their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I'm going with you.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
Couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Sellsword, yes. Let's go with that.
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
This should be interesting. I know, this won't bring back Licinia or her sister. Taking the same risks may making the same mistakes. It's possible, but better than try than to give up every time. Perhaps it is unwise to volunteer for a mission so soon after the previous disaster. Nevertheless, I shall not squander this opportunity. You will be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to adopt proper etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Thancred in particular will be worried sick if you're gone too long. May the Fury watch over and keep you. Are you and the children ready? I will explain the route once we are outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it as an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. Dad, there you are! Several of the Temple Knights are off on a reconnaissance at the present. We Ashgardians have seen our fair share of frost in the past years, so we are more than ready for this icy bout. The Hrothgars from Bosja, on the other hand, are having a devil of a time adjusting to these chilly climes. The warming stones we let them seems to have helped, though. Okay, Dad, I'll be back. Bye. Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead, I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Alizé and he's Alphino. And last but not least, there's Alla. Alla. Where have I heard that before? No matter. Alphino and Alizé will watch the road ahead while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers. So you're to run, not saunter. Run towards the station. Alarm number 1. If you think about going for your weapons, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Once you choose to depart, Julius will accompany you. Alphino and Alizé will then begin moving towards the destination. Make your way to Liminal Station 4 without being falling behind. If you leave Julius behind for any reason or lose sight of Alphino and Alizé, you may try again. thought the name of that damn thing was called Obvious. I was like, what? This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. It looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, we're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Regio Domorum, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close, no wandering off. Understood? From here we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapon at your ready. They would attack their own countrymen. Aye, they spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed is slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take the chance. With that said, let us proceed. See where your comrades chose you. Julius, our contingent has a cure for the or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people, they are beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue forward. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of desire to remain undiscovered, and that is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. Oh, God, look at him. Look at what they've become, but you still stand there and claim that they can be cured. Those exposed to vast quantities of primal ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you've seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you will think twice before speaking of a cure. We're almost there. You have kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine. This way. This is Tertium, one of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I will be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. It is underground. I had no idea they had such expansive structures built underground. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed, and if Julius was willing to make this perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like Victor's spoils, it must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voice. While you may be here as my guest, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive over there. Not responding. Boo! Check out the beard on this dude.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Van Kina, Legatus of the First Legion.
One's directly loyal to the Emperor. This dude's beard is fucking magnificent.
I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our Emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and Empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, They will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference. To make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope.
Am I crazy, or does this guy have Keeper of the Sun eyes?
It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you, if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
Collar? Is this going to be some sort of weird collar that makes sure we can't use magic?
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop. Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed.
Makes sense.
Even if he
would know who
allowed
we
himself
are.
to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, We will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
On the coldest, blackest nights, meager though it may be, we must share the warmth of our fire. I didn't remember exactly, but I had a feeling it was something Haurchefant said.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into it. As per Lord... Oh god, how do you pronounce his name? Is it Quintus? Quintus. As per Lord Quintus's instructions, I am to supervise you during your time here in Tertium. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars, nor would I tell you if I did. And if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will, but remember I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shot collars will be the least of your worries. Understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation. And above all else, don't use magics of any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wheresoever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alphino and Alizé will pay the price. Alright, talk to some people. You came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off the Aetheryte. It's deactivated. But I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Garleans for Garleans, could teleport all over in a blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the Aetheryte's power to keep the place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. So cold. This young soldier is on the verge of losing consciousness. It's you, Alamorn. I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorian fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them. My comrades, my friends. Swept them aside in their dozens, as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am too. Just another faceless enemy to be cut down. But it won't be long until our countrymen return. Until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. Well, I commend her bravery for speaking so forwardly towards the Warrior of Light. I know who you are, the so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Damn. Tore the sutures. Of all the times, the worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Virgilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape, took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then... night fell, and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar, the terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact, but body broken, a soldier in name alone. I'd cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. This radio is the same model as the one used at Victor's spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Man, we had to go through all that trouble to get, like, dragon scales and imbue them with the proper properties and shit. They're over here just listening to tunes. Did you learn anything of note? Then your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and the injured are at great risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will soon perish. I realize there is precious little we can do for them at the present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Who's there? My eyes, I can't see all that well. Thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. But I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. So those you met fare no better. I was afraid you'd say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have a contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him, though we'd need to persuade Julius first. Well, seen enough? Julius, the people here have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from nearby houses, and most families kept so in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we've a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees, or one of the afflicted, for all we know. Either way, we're down to our last dregs, without the heating they need. Those in poor health and are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. Those mysterious countrymen of yours, I assume. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted. or in the bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telephoroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We identified the seat of our enemy's power. We realized Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with the Provisional Legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telephoroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then, we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you ceruleum. I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree? No, he will not place Garlemald in the debt of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for ceruleum outside. As you are under my watch, you come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you're worth. Once we're outside, we will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. Use sleeping powder on vicious fawn. Oh, right, that's a side quest. We will begin our search for ceruleum in Regio Urbanissima. Regio Urbanissima. The first location is Forum Soleus, a park to the northwest of this station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. So, some people are starting to hit Twitter with their overall, non-spoiler, just general impressions after having completed the story, which, how the fuck, people? I'm like 8 or 9 hours in and I'm only at level 82 stuff. But, the things they're saying are shocking and not shocking at the same time. Because from what general impressions I've been seeing, people are like, how the fuck did they make something better than Shadowbringers? And that's been consistent from what I've seen so far. But it's not shocking because, like, first of all, it's the same writers. I mean, Ishikawa is amazing. So I always knew it was going to be good. But, like, it's not surprising just based on what I've experienced so far. If this level of quality of writing and character interactions and world building continues, yeah, I can see that. So, I am very much looking forward to what the rest of this has in store for me. So this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the national areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. The park was named after the founding father of the Empire, the great Solus Galvus. Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the Machina in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I decided to try one more time, in case something has been overlooked. I see. Then with your permission, we will commence the search. Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant's stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There is nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other device that would be fueled by ceruleum. I hear an aether current. I hate that I know what an aether current sounds like. Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Soleus. The pond, children's play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of ceruleum. It's so weird, like, it's going to take me time to get used to how contemporary Garlemald is, because this is not a hand-drawn map. And that's all we've seen in this game so far. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of ceruleum, as Julas said. Spotted Alphino over here. I don't imagine there would be much need for Magitech in Park of all places, but then again, I wasn't raised in Garlemald. They may have uses for ceruleum that I have yet to consider. This, whatever it is, appears to have some sort of symbolic meaning relating to this park. Even though the place is named after Solus, it doesn't seem to be a statue of him. Well, at least not anymore. Maybe it was once a fountain, or somewhere the man himself used to sit. Not that it would matter, even if we knew, but I can't help wondering. The contraption is built in a style of Imperial War Machina, armed with battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations, but upon closer inspection appears to be no more than a children's slide. Oh, it's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? But, yes. No, It's just, I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over. So like all the other children, they just had to wade and splash about. Would have stayed here if they didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done, every time. And every time, when we get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. I think Alphino's thinking what I'm thinking. With a ceruleum-powered heater, by chance. I suppose it must have been, come to think of it. I remember seeing engineers changing out the tank beneath the hatch. That was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear. It wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Garlean would jump out of their skin if they saw it. But the first has a few foreign Siniferi and Medici, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now. Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, I'll blast over fire, should do the trick. Leave it to me. I like that Alphino has now been considered the official gatherer of wood. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. The tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake, like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane. So I fancy a dip. This is the most a la Big Brother thing ever. Last thing we need is you catching a cold. If you're that concerned for my well-being, you can dive in and help me look. The quicker we find the ceruleum, the sooner we can get out of here. You delve into the murky water, but come up empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. Oh boy! What does that do? Oh wow, it actually does damage. Beneath the water, your fingers catch on what you might think be a handle. You open the hatch and retrieve a ceruleum tank. Oh, what the fuck? However, your grand discovery comes at a great personal cost, as you become actually aware of the freezing cold and rancid odor emanating from every ilm of your body. Julius will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver to him your prize. Alright, Alize, out of the water. Did you find anything? I hope you did. That's it. And there's still some ceruleum left. Ugh, the fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alphino a hand. Call me an Uldan because by fire am I reborn, and my clothes are mostly dry now, too. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the streets, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song of happiness. And all those as summers came and went all too quickly. In that brief respite, the ice would melt, and the forgotten grass would make its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we climbed to the top of the tallest building we could find and watched the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble. Those friends dead. Those memories. But if I can reclaim even a fraction of what we once had, soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search, just outside the park. I do kind of wish or hope that there's some kind of Garlean restoration. Or maybe if we get a time skip somewhere at the end or in the future, they'll have rebuilt it when we come back. As you can see, this place is littered with remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than prise them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you to stand clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering, though, you should check the machina's ceruleum gauge to see if there's any left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Understood. Let's get to work. You retrieve the War Machina's ceruleum tank to find it is still half full, or half empty, depending on one's perspective. Either way, Julius will surely be pleased by your discovery. More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? You've done it again. Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we head back. Wait here while I go and see how Alphino and Alizé are faring.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we?
Well, that's scary. Not used to that.
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of our way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
I forget we have a link pearl.
Far. We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all what I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile. It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
Man, the music for Turncliffe is so fucking good, and I'm glad they're still using it.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Euless spoke?
Euless. Been pronouncing it wrong.
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
Don't do something you'll regret.
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Everything will be alright. Have faith.
Get them out of here.
I will remember your restraint, Euless. At least they're together. Alphino and Alizé will be fine, providing they do not resist. Asphyxiation. Spirits within mastery. Oh, I got the big kaboom now. I didn't see what the other one was. Melee mastery. As a healing effect, the Holy Spirit and Holy Circle? What? I get heals from doing damage? I mean, it's not much, but still, that's fucking crazy. Increases the potency of Fast Blade to 200, Riot Blade to 170, Royal Authority to 130, Holy Spirit to 270, and Atonement to 428. Damn, that's fucking nuts. It's intervention. Duration of intervention. Grants Knight's resolve to target, reducing damage taken by 10%. Grants Knight's benediction to target, gradually restoring HP over time. Interesting. Alright, Euless. Bella Lactast. You will accompany me back to your camp, where I will meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus's demands. Before we depart, however, there is something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to Legionnaires Marcellinus and Octavia, who will pilot Magitech armor to your headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the Eel for further details in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. You again. Ask it, he said. So, that's to be the way of it, after all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, and so be it, for the glory of Garlemald. Why does it feel like I just gave them Order 66? What do you want with me? So Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand. That he would recognize the savage as the ruthless, mirthless creature, and to defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. I am ready. In the name of Emperor Varus, and for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. That can't be good. Have you done as I instructed? Duty is really a simple thing. We have been given additional orders, though whenever we will be required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together now, like it or not. We have to cooperate. There is one other matter, a place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. Euless lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave and reluctant to stay, unable to move on.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
It's no use.
Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
Oh.
It's so cold.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people. One race cleansed of imperfections. A cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos. Searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics. To see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand. To refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know.
They're finally having this conversation. Holy shit. I'm sorry, I'm like on the verge of tears, because I've been like waiting for this.
Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alize.
What was that? Estinian?
The scouts have secured Alize and Alfino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties. Not for their party, nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
Couldn't possibly think this is going to end well for you.
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return! Stop! Both of you!
This child may be the worst emissary I've ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I, memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Don't fucking do it. Come on.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
God damn it. The theme of this area is it didn't have to be this way. God damn it. Still, I've got goosebumps and warm feelings in my heart from that scene between Alphino and Alze. I've been waiting for them to have that sort of discussion for so long. Especially after 5.4 when, like, you're alone with either of them. And they're just talking about how great the other is. And I'm just like, tell them that yourself. It's so good to finally see. Still. Much and more has occurred since last we met. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. We will make no attempt to resist.